Hello and welcome to Two Trees Gaming. Myself and Aaron thought it would be fun to go through the profiles and army list for the new upcoming Armies of Middle-earth book. We're going to go through all the good profiles and army lists today, and we'll do the evil ones in a future video. We're going to look at their old profile from the old edition and think about how it might change going into the new edition and what we'd like to see changed as well. And there's a couple of things to note. If I say Third Age, that's just a bad habit I've got into. I mean War of the Ring instead of Hobbit era. So if there's a little confusion there, that's what that is. And then the other thing is if I say a profile as it is at the moment, that means as it is in the old edition. But without further ado, here's me and Aaron taking some guesses at what might change, what we'd like to see changed, and we're looking forward to ourselves being proven wrong. My preparation has been to go through all the old army books and write down all the models that are missing from the current range that aren't legacied. Other than that, we're kind of going to be winging it on the spot. But sound good?
Yeah. Do you want me to get a buzzer for when you mention a legacy pod?
I've already done Grimbold in that other video.
Yeah. Well, I've seen here you've got on the list you sent me. You've got Grimbold legacy ? Definitely legacy. Erkenbrand legacy ? Definitely legacy. Florian Balin ? Definitely legacy. King's Champion, yes. Shieldbearer, yes.
They've all got question marks.
Quick
for me
Beam,
to check.
might we get a new one? No, I'm going to save you that hassle. No, Quick Beam is now birchseed. Let go of Quick Beam.
So they said there might be some new profiles. There's War Drakes coming. We might get a Quick Beam profile.
No, and then, Quick Beam doesn't exist. Quick Beam's dead.
He's in the book. So Gondor. I'll read out the models that I think we're missing, and then we'll tackle any that we think might have some significant changes, because there'll be a lot that are obviously going to be the same. So the ones that I think we're missing is Beregond, Hurin, Ingold, the Avenger Bolt Thrower, and then Imrahil, Forlong, Angbor, Dunir, Captain of Dol Amroth, Knight of Dol Amroth, Axeman of Lostenak, Clansman of Lamadon, and the Blackroot Vale Archers.
Yep.
I don't think I've missed anything there. The comments will correct me now. For me, the one that I think needs a change or an upgrade is Beregond.
Bit more damroddy.
Yeah, he's gone. He went from 25 points, essentially the same profile as Beregond.
Yeah.
Up to 40 points. He's got 2 attacks. He's got his own little special rule. And Beregond, after Imrahil and maybe the twins and Halbrad, he's kind of the book hero.
Yes.
Left,
yeah.
I think maybe Tom Bombadil, but you know what I mean. He's kind of a key player or a fan favorite.
He's going to get sharpshooter, I think, definitely. It's then whether he gets the 2 shots and the 2 attacks, but that would make him 70 points, which would be quite an uplift.
I don't think he's getting 2 shots, but I think what they've done is they've gone even heavier on a lot of profiles into what the character does in the book and the film. Sometimes I think he might get some kind of buff near Faramir or Pippin.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And Irolas also gives Citadel Guard +1 to wound, so Beregond could benefit from that maybe as part of his rule.
He might also do that as well. He might also, but he might give it shooting.
Yeah, like reroll 1s to hit and wound when you're shooting within 3 of him. So then you've got a use for spear and bow.
Yeah.
Citadel Guard. I like that.
I don't dislike the 25, 30-point heroes, and they do seem to have got rid of a lot of them, which I think is a little bit of a shame. Like, so I actually wouldn't mind if he stayed at 25 points, 30 points.
They seem to be wanting to reduce hordes a little bit. I think like Goblin Town now are more expensive, but they've got a better buff. We'll come to Hobbits, but I think they're going to do the same. Army of Lake Town are overcosted, but they've got some good special rules with the army bonus. I don't think they want like you to be able to put down, although obviously there are armies with like 100 goblins. But
that used to be 130 goblins.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100 instead of 130.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Okay, if I'm predicting Beregond, I'm going to say he'll go up to fight 5. He'll get 2 attacks. I love your shooting rule to balance out with Irolas, so you can take the bowman. So re-roll him 1s to hit and wound. Shooting. And then I don't think with all that he will get anything specific to being with Pippin or Gandalf or Faramir.
No, that's too many rules. He's going to get 1 special rule.
Yeah, 1.
Because he'll have bodyguard. He'll have bodyguard and sharpshooter as well. So actually, then he's got 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and with his standfast, the bodyguard's great, and then he can keep the archers there. Although if it's Citadel Guard, they've got bodyguard as well. Okay, but I thought he was a big one. Hurin,
I don't think Huron will change. I don't think inherently a lot of the newer models will change. Ingold might change only because you now do shield wall before you step back. So his rule of not stepping back has less use.
I agree with that completely. We'll pivot into Ingold then. I think his rule is also untidy or confusing for no players. So I think they might change his rule to be within 3 inches of Ingold, you get dominant 2, something like that. So it's holding the line, and it's just dead simple. It's essentially doing the same purpose.
Huron will be dominant 2, I think, as well. Because he's so tall. Yeah, because he's so tall. Look at the model. That guy's got dominant 2. That guy's on an objective. You're not taking it off him.
Yeah, I can go for that. I think he might go to fight value 6.
Yes, I think there's going to be a general uplift in fight values. So, yeah.
Then you've got your Avenger Bolt Thrower, which I think is kind of okay.
I don't think will change.
No, it's strength 7. It could go down.
Could be then strength 6, couldn't it?
It's quite powerful for its points. So then for Gondor, we've got the Fiefdoms.
I don't think anything significant will change on any of that, except the Clansmen of Lamadon and Angbor. Obviously, they used to have the rule where a natural 6 is still a 6. That's going
We're on exactly the same wavelength. I think they'll get the cleaving blow rule that the Mordor Orcs have got.
Yes. And I think they'll get Mountain Dweller.
Yes, that'd be cool.
But cleaving blow is exactly what they're going to get.
You could have it that a 5 or 6 counts as a 5 or 6. Because they've lost a lot of that. They've lost their pike option. They're not going to have as many dice, but I think it's confusing and too many dice, too powerful. I'd give them Cleaving Blow.
Cleaving Blow.
Yeah.
Cleaving Blow. Yeah. And actually, I was thinking about that earlier when I was thinking about could I do an army of 1,000 points of Mordor Uruk-hai, which is obviously mental, so I'm not going to.
Please do.
But I was thinking, actually, that is a disaster for the enemy general to play. You have to wound the enemy. He loses a wound against an Uruk-hai. You have to take the wound if it's not a 6, because if you fate it, the next time it happens, it might be a 6.
That's true.
And then suddenly you've lost 2 wounds.
I think we can get enough pressure in the comments to make you make 1,000 points of Mordor.
You can't. You have to have a goal bag.
And to be honest, your 1,000 points, you're throwing the schools. I know I've bigged it up before, but it's the best. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't. I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for Team's board, but I'm so buzzing for my throwing schools.
For the fiefdoms, then we think Angbor and the clansmen have got to change, potentially getting Cleaving Blow. The other one I think will change is Imrahil. He's possibly going to get a fight value boost to 7. He might stay at 6, but I'm not going to say he will get a change. I'd like him to get a change because at the moment there's no reason to take the Dol Amroth banner models, and they're beautiful. You get the Forge World foot one and the mounted one are both nice, but Imrahil gives the banner for 12 inches.
Yeah, I think that'll drop to 6, or maybe even 3, because that's generally what they've done. Like in Thrall's one, he's now, if you put him with Dale, is now 3 and stuff. Except now half of them you get 4 victory points for banners.
Oh, so then you take them.
So that's why you take it. No, that's part of it. Actually, it's kind of forced that. Like I think you Men of the West, looking at that going, probably will take a banner unless.
I'd like to see him give a 3-inch bubble of +1 to wound or something like that.
It's just that just compounds with lancers.
Yeah, but that's okay. Or maybe +1 strength on the charge, like Rohan. He's strength 4 with lancers on the charge with Imrahil, because he's Swan Knights, and then it's all cavalry. Before Fiefdom's armies, obviously they lent into the pikes, which was not great. They're gone now, but it's still leaning toward infantry. We need the cavalry to have.
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean about the banner, and like you say about not taking the point. I'm not convinced he will change that much.
Because there have been a lot of profiles that did change a little bit that we weren't expecting. Aragorn got a ring and resistance to magic. Legolas got this new rule. Before the edition, you're not saying they change.
I tell you what, he might get resistant to magic because he's elven. He's half elven, but not half elven. But there's a bit of elf, so I think he might. And actually, you know what? Glamroth could get resistant to magic.
No, that's too much. No way.
I think you used to not take the Knights of Glamroth as much. I think Glamroth Knights might get resistant to magic to just make them slightly more attractive.
I'd like that. In terms of the models, I want to see them on the table more as well.
Yeah.
On to Rohan then. I don't know that there's too much that would change, but I've got Elfhelm, Deowine, Garnbury, Garn, and then the Wozers. I actually don't think any of those will change. Do you have any thoughts on that though?
I played Deowine when I had Cumul on Fellbeast. He's got Bodyguard, and Damlin gave him a 3-point of might. So basically, what happened was he just kept charging the Fell Beast and then heroic striking every turn.
Is it just strike and march? Could go to defense, but that'd be a bit gambling. Elladan and Elwë here. Any thoughts on those?
So they're not going to have access to a bow. They're going to have to come with armor. You're going to be able to get them on a horse. They might not have elven cloaks. Could go either way with that.
I think because they're great models, and if you can, you're taking them on the horse. But I think in the Grey Company Legion, which is their thematic legion, so outside of Rivendell, they're going to be on foot. I think you're going to have a rule while they've got the infantry keyword. If they could do a filly and killy, they could swap places and get a reroll of a dual roll, or while they're within 3 inches of each other and have the infantry keyword, they get an extra attack +1 to wound, whatever it is, something like that.
I think that you might find that their choice of attacks and stuff only matters when they're on foot.
Do you think they'll still have that? I think they'll just be 3 attacks.
Maybe.
You can gamble, you got to roll the 6. Just simplify it. What is that? I was frustrated that Gimli still had that rule. So I'd much rather have the option to go 3 attacks and gamble on the 6 when I need it. Because really, you're only 200 weaponing when you've got something mobbed. You almost always go 3 attacks with Gimli. So I could see them going through, just simplify, straight 3 attacks, and then while they've got infantry, some kind of benefit to help them in the Grey Company. But
I think, something like that.
But moving on then.
Rumil, Orifin, Galadrim Court, and Sentinels.
There's a lot of people when Orifin came out desperate for heroic strike. But I really like that you've got one of the 3 brothers has got strike, one's got strength, and one's got defense. And strike is less essential now, and he's fight value 6.
What was Orifin's? If he rolled a 6 on his dual roll,
you've got 3 attacks, so he's got an extra attack on them, and then each 6 he rolls doubles into as if the opponent's trapped. So it makes it doubles the strikes of the 6s.
I think they might only have 2 points of might, but extra fate. But except then I would have, if you'd have said, just because they've done a bit of a lot of characters have lost a might, gained a fate.
Potentially. Interesting. I'm so looking forward to being proved wrong in like 2 months on everything we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. A Rumil, same deal basically. His might, I agree, his might could drop to 2, but otherwise I think his profile's pretty solid. I like his rule as well, force the opponent to reroll. Yeah. Okay, I don't think the Galadrim or Sentinels will change.
Sentinels, I think, will change to you now pull them towards you. Like the...
and intelligence test.
Yes, same as the Spectres. Galadrim Court, what fight value?
Celeborn's play at the moment is I'm a little ball of death. Within 3 inches of me, you get +1 to wound. Galadrim Court could maybe drop a point, go down to fight 5, but within 3 of Celeborn, +1 fight.
Are they getting phalanx?
No, I think that's the disadvantage to them, isn't it? Because they're such good models.
I don't know. I think phalanx. And
I think not. We shall see. I look forward to finding out. So then we're on to dwarves.
Yeah.
And the dwarves are some of the ones that suffered because they've lost King's Champion, Balin, who will hopefully come in a future supplement, and Floy.
Yeah.
We'll tackle the army bonuses later.
And the Shield Bearer.
But do you think any of them, I'll read them out, do you think any of these are going to change? So you've got Durin, Mardin, Dwarf Warriors, Dwarf Rangers, Khazad Guard, Iron Guard, Vault Wardens, and the Dwarf Ballista. So they've still got a really good variety of troops.
So Durin's had a boost because you now cannot, if someone's wearing mithril armor, you can't use a monster's brutal power attack on it. Mardin could, and I'm just throwing this out there, this is just out there, could get a similar rule to Iana, where he matches fight value of monsters that he is fighting.
Oh.
But only monsters, not heroes.
I thought maybe he could cancel brutal power attacks.
Yeah.
But I don't hate that rule that you've just suggested. He needs a bit of a buff. He needs something.
You just took Captain with the shield because he was more than an extra point of might, but then didn't have the shield, was lower defense.
And monsters weren't as prevalent, and now they are more prevalent, so he is actually automatically better in that sense as well. I also think Durin will go to fight 7.
He could stay fight 6, couldn't he?
I could see it either way, but I'm team fight 7 for Durin. He's like the boss. And then what it means as well is he can strike up to match Balrog. Do you think the Guardians will still exist, or the equivalent? Because Thor's Guardians still exist. Do you think you'll be able to upgrade Khazad to get like a +1 to wound?
Well, it was to Burley, wasn't it? But then I think I don't know if you're paying a point for that anymore now that they're all a 6.
Yeah, I suppose, because if you get 18 of them, that's 18 points. There's a banner, essentially, or 2 more models.
I think your Vault Warden teams, the monsters won't be able to hit the spearmen.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good rule.
Yeah, because you currently can't brutal power attack them either, so they might go, you can't hit the spearmen either.
The only time I've ever played Vault Warden teams, I had one single Orc Archer against a full Vault Warden team who then killed the front shield. That shield then got replaced, and my single Orc Archer then killed that one. Literally 6s by 5, 6s by 5, won the combat against them. So I don't know, Vault Warden's overrated. I don't think these profiles will really change because they're quite new, but we've got Grim Beorn and Beornings, King Brand, Bard II, Knights of Dale, Old Dane, and then Thorin Stonehelms. This is the War in the North kind of dwarves.
I think there'll be a potential couple of changes. Beornings giving up the +1 to wound for the bow I don't think it's worth it. I think that might...
I disagree with that. Previously, a Beorning was fight 5, strength 4, defense 4, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 5, and then a hit on a 4+.
So I just think 2 attacks at +1 to wound for hitting on 5s generally. I'm not sure is...
I could see them go to 3+. Yeah.
You know, I think the Knight of Dale, I think their rules will change where I think they will, if you concede priority, they get the +1 to wound rather than being charged.
Yeah, I was going to say I like their rules for this edition because I still think it will stay as actually being charged because you can then tactically give it to the opponent and be like, come at me. So same rule, but you've got a bit more flexibility.
It's just then they've got spears and they have to be on the front. The spears that have to be on the front. It doesn't.
Well, they could tweak it. You know, it could be in a fight or supporting a fight that's been charged, something like that.
Yeah.
Grimbeon, I'm going to make a controversial call. Here's one that I look forward to finding out if I'm right or wrong. I think he's going to go up to fight 8, same as Beorn, but he'll lose Heroic Strike.
Ooh. Yep.
Yeah. So I could see that happening. That would be in line with the type of changes they've made this edition and would be like a big choice then between Beorn going berserk but can strike or Beorn but can't strike, but fight 8's massive. So
you just
I can see that.
You're just taking them both.
You're just taking them both. You're always taking them both.
Yeah. It's up to 500 points. But even at
even then, just take them both.
Yeah, just take them both. Yeah.
And then the last few, we've got all of the Hobbits. I'm not gonna read out all the Hobbits, except that I think the Hobbits on ponies will change, only slightly. They're obviously going to get an extra fate point like they have in the Fellowship. Sam has to go up to 2 attacks. But then I would like to see... I'm not a big fan of the Tuckish Hunters, Brattle and Bandy books. They can keep them if they want, but I'd rather that was an area of effect for Merry and Pippin. So it's like you get upper strength if Merry's there, and you go upper shooting if Pippin's there, or whatever it is. And then Sam could also have an area of effect, and then Frodo's his banner. The 4 of them together then are buffing people. Because I think the other thing, which we'll come to when we talk about armies, but I think Hobbits maybe will go up in points, and then they'll have a better army bonus, similar to Goblin Town Army of Lake Town, so that you get less.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Like less models. So nobody wants to fight 150 Hobbits. It doesn't work out.
Well.
Okay, everybody wants to, but not in a 2-hour time frame.
No. You know what? This would be controversial, but would solve the problem without increasing their points. Imagine every single hero in that got downgraded a heroic tier.
So they all had to take less models.
So Merry and Pippin, I think they're probably Valor now. They go to Fortitude. Sam will be Valor. Let's say Sam, Merry, Pippin, and Valor. They all go to Fortitude. Farmer Cotton, Farmer Maggot, Farmer Thingy all go to minor heroes, so they can only take 6.
Then you just got to take a load of heroes that could all have an extra fate or whatever it is. You want them to be fate high because the Shire list in the new book, Gandalf gets extra fireworks, and then it's reroll fates and fates so 3+.
Yeah.
So lead into that, but you want to be outnumbered as hobbits as well, which is difficult because they're weak fighters. But really, when an army of Uruk-hai or orcs come,
but don't forget the hobbits won't be in that Shire list. There'll be 2 lists for the hobbits.
There's the Battle of Bywater coming in the new book, but then I think on the profile it'll say these can be taken in the Shire list.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, which is they have said they're going to do. I mean, you can't not have infantry in the Shire list. Whether all the heroes will be in it, I don't know. And then the last two then are Tom Bombadil and Goldberry.
Oh, is that because I've said you're definitely not getting a quick beam?
Because, okay, yes, I've written on my list, will we get a new quick beam?
No.
No.
Doesn't exist.
We're not going to get a quick beam. We're not going to get a quick beam. We would add a bit of variety to the ends, but anyway.
I don't know what they'll do with Tom Bombadil and Goldberry. Like, you could make him 1,000 points, and you go right when you put him down. You just roll a dice on a 4, 5, or 6. You win the game because he just stomps on him.
It could be a Smaug type model.
On a 1, 2, or 3, he just walks off. You know what? Could he have that dominant rule?
Oh, where he just takes an objective.
Yeah.
He can't if he's got his rules the same as what they are, because he automatically wins the fight. And eventually
what
get
list do you put in? Where's he getting picked? Fellowship?
He's got a
Shire.
It has to be in the Shire, I think. It has to be the Shire. But then Road to Rivendell. That's heroes only at the moment. There's no Gildor, there's no elves, so there won't be any elves.
Yeah.
And his points are about right. Somebody put it in our Discord, didn't they? Where he needs to go up by 20 points, and then that's about right.
Right.
I can see him getting. So at the moment, he can banish and he can refreshing song. But refreshing song heals a wound and might will and fate, which in the Road to Rivendell makes that very viable, or a lot more viable because there's so many heroes. I think he could get 2 spells a turn, something like that, like the Necromancer has.
But
because then he's healing. Well, then you've just got infinite might. I don't know how you make a profile for him. Is the honest.
I didn't hate the last one.
Like in principle, yeah. Unless he's just giving loads of buffs to nearby warriors and troops.
You put Tom into a fight, which he automatically wins. At the end of the fight, he takes an intelligence test to see if he just gets bored and wanders off. There's a risk reward there to having him being in a fight.
It's very difficult. I do think he will change. I don't know how he will change. I can't see him being a big fighter. I can see him being like an almost invisible, untouchable presence that moves around and gives buffs to your troops and warriors. Like maybe he's singing different songs, like the Goblin King, and he sings a banner. He sings a 6+ save. He sings a whatever, and that might be how they do it.
Yeah, I mean that's the other way you could end up doing it. Could he be 50 points, and that's all he does? Fight one doesn't make attacks, can't hurt him if you win the fight. Doesn't have any spells. Just sings a song. They could do that. You could could rewrite that, couldn't you?
And Goldberry increases the range of the songs, or gives you 2 songs to turn because she also does a song. Yeah, difficult. You want him to be a model that you also don't want to have to include. You want to be able to take Road to Rivendell or the Shire without. Oh, we need to get Tom's buffs. You don't want to see Tom Bombadil on every table thematically, but every now and again you want to turn up one in 5 games against the Shire.
I don't know. That's because they could do that. He also could, as I say, he could also be 300 points, and he can do, open up the ground below something, and it just like
we could have writhing vines and things like that as well. We've got interesting. But I would like to see him changed, but I don't know how. That is the end of the profile. So we think there's going to be some tweaks, but no major overhauls. Obviously, we've got all the Arnold stuff as well.
Yeah,
we got to talk some army lists though. The first army list we're going to talk about is the Grey Company. You've got the 3 hunters, Halbarad, Rangers of the North, Eldar, Elba here. That's in the previous edition. I think that'll stay the same. I think you probably agree with that.
Yeah.
The old rules were Aragorn gets Arnduril for free.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers of the North can use the Standfast of the heroes and increase their attacks to 2. It leaves a bit to be desired. Have you got any initial thoughts on that?
So, in the book, Aragorn takes out Arnduril and says he won't sheath it until Minas Tirith is free. I think Aragorn might have to charge.
Ooh.
If able.
I don't hate that. But what I was going to suggest was I think everybody in the list, I was thinking for more gameplay rather than lore, give them all dominant 2.
And it's going to give them +1 fight value. They'll be 5.
Do you think so? +1 fight value on the charge or just +1 fight value?
No, just +1 fight value. Round Aragorn. The Rangers are +1 fight value.
Around Aragorn +1 fight value?
Yeah.
We don't need a banner effect. Halbard's got it. You benefit from the Standfast. You go up to 2 attacks if you're a Ranger of the North. I still think you get dominant 2.
Then dominant 2. That's it. Yeah,
and dominant 2. And then that's enough then.
Yeah.
Does Aragorn have to charge at that or not?
No. And he'll get Arnduril for free.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we've fixed the grey company.
Deploy as one warband as well.
In deploy as one warband. If you want to, or you have to.
Have to.
I think have to. Yeah. You broke up, but I'm saying have to. The Beornings, so 6+ save. Monstrous Charge is baked into their profile now, I believe. And then they don't have to roll for Skin Changer and Resistant to Magic. So essentially, you're just giving them Resistant to Magic, 6+ save, and then the banner effect will probably go into the list. They don't need to change. They're powerful models. They're their own self-contained little thing.
Yeah.
I'm crossing them off as we go. So Fords of Eisen is Theodred's guard. We've lost Grimbold. So it's going to be Elfhelm, Theodred, and then Captains and Warriors of Rohan. Royal Guard will probably be able to go with Theodred. So they'll be included. In here, you've got Fight in Ranks, which lets the Rohan use their throwing spears as spears. That's already into that profile. Everybody gets Swarm Protector, which is essentially bodyguard for Theodred. Yeah. And then they get the +1 fight value within whatever range of the Rohan General, but that's also baked into the profile now. It used to say Theoden. Now it says General. So in terms of if this was transported to this edition now, it's just bodyguard or Swarm Protector for Theodred. I think it will need a little bit more because you've lost your Helmangers.
Do they get +1 strength? Where does the +1 strength on the charge come from?
That's in the army list, so they don't get that in this. And there's no infinite riders in this. You have to take infantry because the riders come with bows. Right. The previous way you would have built it would have been strength 4 Helmangers on the front, Royal Guard spears
with axes,
with throwing things and axes, of course. You've lost a lot of the buffs. It needs something else. His whole deal is obviously he dies defending the fort.
Yeah,
and then Elfhelm comes to reinforce.
Okay.
So could Elfhelm's warband get a just for his own warband, like a Madril plus or minus?
Oh yeah,
he's coming in.
Yeah.
And then Theodred's holding the objective. He could get dominant, but I don't mean to be boring and say everything's dominant. And
we're just kind of adding dominant and
it could be +1 to win within 3 inches of an objective, a bit like the wild men get.
Yeah. The Theodred gets free. The Theodred gets freer at combat.
Oh, do you think you just go crazy? Yeah. Make it more killy.
Theodred gets freer at combat because the Swarm Protector works really well with that. Because there is an argument with Swarm Protector. If the whole army's got it, you just sit Theodred at the back and go, right, my whole army doesn't run away here, so I can tag whatever objectives I want. You're going to 25% me, and I know that warrior Rohan are contesting those objectives. 100%. You have to go back and kill them. If Theodred is alive, if he has a free hero at combat and has to charge, that's an absolute fucking nightmare. To do that.
I agree. I think you're getting Swarm Protector. I agree. Free heroic combat on Theodred, which is a massive cursed chalice, poison chalice, and then Elfhelm can arrive plus or minus.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one more for you. Bearing in mind your leader has to have died and it's Theodred and whatever else.
Yeah.
If Theodred dies, place a marker, which there's a bit of rules like that.
Yeah.
You're a banner for 6 inches from that marker after he's died. So you're going to defend his body. Defend the king's body.
Or do they automatically pass courage tests?
They do anyway, they've got Swarm Protector. Oh, no, because then they've lost that, but if they're near
they're defending his body.
Something like that. I'd like to see. I don't know if it will, but I like that.
Yeah.
We'll just do Pass to the Druid then. All the Rohan heroes that go to Pelennor, plus the Wozers. At the moment, they can put markers into terrain and be able to move through them. And they get to re-roll 1s against Orc, Goblin, and Orc High models. And then they get their roll-off. The roll-off becomes a 3+ instead of a 4+.
Oof.
I think that'll stay. I actually think that's going to be one of the few lists. I just don't think it'll change.
They won't have to take 12 woes, the 15 wozers. You'll be able to take 12 because that's the box they come in. So at the moment, you have to have the full warband. So that was a bit of a nightmare and stopped people taking it. So I think you will.
Yeah, but do you think that? But you can't. You don't just want to take Garn and then get all the benefits of the army list, and it's just Rohan.
No. I think you'll have to take. I think it'll be 12. He'll be a hero of fortitude, not valor.
Okay, or it could be he's a valor, but you have to take at least 12, something like that. Yeah.
He had to be valor in the previous edition because that's how the allies worked. He now doesn't because it's just a legion. So he'll be a hero of fortitude. It stops him getting challenged and all sorts as well. I think he might get Birder's rule. Where they
ambush.
Pop up ambush.
Yeah.
I think he'll get ambush. Yeah. And I think he'll get ambush. I think that I would ditch the scenery rule. I don't like it. I think it's too good. I think I've played it a few times, and all they end up doing is spend the whole game measuring 24 inches away from you.
Yeah, I agree. I played the same thing, and because they can dart through scenery, you then can't get to them, and they shoot you through it. So from a thematic point of view, it makes sense. Actually, I agree gameplay-wise. So they could ditch that, give Garn the ambush. He appears in the... And it's you're almost like the scene just before. So, it's like when they meet Garn, they're in the woods and there they are, instead of the point where they're leading them through it.
Plus or minus one on the Maelstrom, potentially.
I agree with that. So reinforcements rule, ambush for Garn.
Yeah.
And then 3+ on the roll-off still? What do you think? Call it?
I think that's too... No.
It's good, but I think it'll still be there. Right, let's go Battle of Bywater then. So the Hobbits will be added into the Shire list, but then the other one that they'll have the option to is Battle of Bywater, which is going to be the Hobbits after they return on their ponies. We've talked about their profile might get an extra point of fate, or maybe the actual, like they might get banner effects or whatever else. Let me just look on here. So at the moment, you can place down traps, which is a whole massive nightmare. I'm really hoping they get rid of that. They all get woodland creature. Hobbit heroes can benefit from the Standfast of Merry, which I didn't know until reading right now. And then one warband can ambush Lightbirder or by moving onto any board edge, which negates their moving bonus and shows that they know the Shire and they can fight in that. So I like that.
I have to say, I don't hate the traps. Just in a 500-point thematic game, I quite like the traps. I think they're quite good. I think it just becomes like where at 1,000 points where there's already 80 hobbits down, and then you're like, I'm going to put down
1,000. There's 150, but at 700 points at the GT, and then you've got to do the traps. It slows the game, and the game is already slow with hobbits, especially if they're stopping to throw stones and that kind of thing. Do they need more? Am I being silly? But they feel competitive to me. I suppose they only move 4 and the fight value 1, and they just get minced.
But they don't. So you can't kill them quick enough. Like I played at the last GT, I played Ryan, and I had Pitstone, Gondor, and the dwarves, and he had hobbits or Angmar. And we made a roll-off, and I made a joke. Everybody wants to see Azog mash these hobbits. I actually think Azog has a problem against those hobbits. Because his heroic combat just can't... He's just killing 3 hobbits a turn. Well, so? Look, it doesn't matter.
They maybe need something more like what Thror's got, where they're fighting in their own half, they can reroll 1s. There's a lot of reroll 1s which we've not even mentioned yet.
Yeah.
In the other rules.
Yeah.
Could be reroll 1 on your dual roll when you're in your own half of the board or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. They have got worse by the Brattle and Brandy books not being able to pierce and strike.
Yeah. Sheriffs, I think, will only be able to be taken by like Paladin and Woolwhipfoot, and then
and then the 2 thingies. So you can take 24, and then so definitely you still take as many as you want.
Fatty's got to go up to 2 fate as well. We did not mention that, but he's got to be the same as the other hobbits. He's the 5th beetle. It's the Defenders of Erebor.
Yeah.
So this is the alliance of King Brand and Old Dane defending Erebor just at the point Dane dies. Spoiler alert. So yeah, if they're within an inch of each other, Erebor and Dale can reroll 1s. You get heroic combats if you would be trapped with certain heroes. Friendly models within 3 inches of Dane, Thorin, Brand, and Bard count as being in range of banner. Yeah.
That will stay. I think the traps will go because you just end up trapping yourself.
To get the heroic combat. But then it's a gamble. I don't hate that you've got to then you are trapped.
I don't like the trapping yourself to achieve something.
Yeah, it's not thematic to choose to trap yourself to get something good, is it? It could just be outnumbered. If you're outnumbered, you get a heroic combat, because then it's hard to pull off. And you can't do it against one enemy then, because what you would do is you fight one enemy, you trap yourself, you get the heroic combat, you go off. At least then if you're fighting 2.
What you can do is you can fight one enemy with 5 of your guys, put 3 guys behind your trapped hero. That's then a free heroic combat. You're now moving 6 of your guys.
Yes. Yeah, you could.
That would be quite a niche situation, but I think that will go. I think it's just a bit janky.
It's faffy, and they have tidied up a lot of those rules. I think that will stay, but it will be outnumbered if the hero is outnumbered in the combat, which is what it's designed for. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. We got Army of Dale, which is the Third Age Army of Dale. So this is Kingbrand, Bard, and then Dale Warriors and the Windlands. Obviously, Dale currently has the +1 to wounds around the Windlands. This is not going to be built around Windlancers.
Ooh, okay.
That's what I think, because the Windlands in the Third Age hasn't battled Smag. It's not at its moment.
Yes.
It's done.
Yeah.
At the moment, they get improve their shoot value to 3+, and they all get Swarm Protector. That's it. It's a bit bland.
Which, to be fair, I've never painted my Dale. I really like the models. I've got a lot of Dale. I've never actually painted them because I've never liked any of the Legions particularly.
Yeah.
So
you've got your Knights of Dale. I think it might lean into this whole giving the opponent priority thing.
What do they get now? 3+ shoot value and
Swarm Protector for Brand.
You might just find reroll 1 to wound.
I'd like it to lean into giving the opponent priority in some way, because it's a mechanic that is at the moment underused in the game.
Yeah.
If it was, you give when on a turn you give the opponent priority, you receive a banner effect, or you can reroll a dual dice, something like that. And then especially with your knights, you've got to take the charge. You then have a small elite army.
Yeah,
I'd like to see something like that, but it could just be what you say. Now, Army of Erebor we've not done, which is going to be a similar deal, but that's going to be Third Age Defenders of Erebor. So that to me will be
Thorin,
Old Dane,
Thorin
Stonehelm. Do you then get any surviving champions?
You get the surviving champions that aren't. So you don't get Thorin, Philly, and Killy. You don't get Balin, Oin, and Ori. So yeah, you're getting Dwalin, Biffa, Boffa,
Gloin.
Gloin's in Rivendell.
He's only in Rivendell for a small amount.
Has he made it back? The dwarves, the sprinters, not distance.
And then obviously you've got Erebor Warriors, Grimhammers, maybe the Chariot, maybe Goat Riders.
I would like the option to have Erebor dwarves.
Let me set a precedent here. The Defenders of Erebor left. It's Iron Hills, not Erebor.
Yes. So I think but I would like to have Grimhammers and Erebor dwarves in a Third Age list.
That would be cool.
I think those models are nice models and they should be in more lists.
So you've got probably Iron Hills, the surviving champions, and then the two, Old Dane and then Thorin Stonehelm.
I would like to see Grimhammers and Erebor dwarves. That would be my want, but I agree. I think it will be Iron Hills.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't really need much of a buff at all, do they? It's going to be a very small buff that because they've got cavalry, they've got crossbows.
Maybe spend their will points to hurt much.
Yeah, just to cover the battlefield, something like that. Yeah, I agree. Okay, we've got 3 left. We've got the Fiefdoms, we've got the Grief of Aemma, and we've got Khazad Doom.
Oh my god, I'm so excited about the Grief of Aemma.
Could maybe be one of these Poison Chalice ones where Aemma's got a charge, but he gets a billion buffs, that kind of thing. It's going to be about Aemma just going loco, isn't it?
Free heroic combats. All the heroes free heroic combats. You just have the time of your life. You just have the...
No.
+1 strength on the charge. Across the board, +1 strength on the charge. Aemma has to charge, and Aemma and Imrahil get free heroic combats.
Let me tell you what the participants are for the Grief of Aemma.
Yeah.
Aemma, Imrahil, Gurren.
Yeah.
6 Warriors of Rohan, 12 Dol Amroth Knights.
Oh my god.
It could be that, Aemma, Imrahil, like you say, +1 strength on the charge, both free heroic combats. Just go crazy. Just go nuts. Who is the leader in that list?
It could have a... they both are.
That's what I was going to say. You've got to kill them both to get the general points.
Because that ties in with Huron. You actually have to nail all 3 of those heroes
to
get any general points.
Yeah. I like that.
Or wound all 3.
Yeah, I like that. +1 strength with the Lancers of the Dol Amroth. It's still all cavalry. It's not super great. Aemma obviously has to charge. He has to charge.
The only issue is, the only thing I would say is with that, you have to have a reason to take Riders of Rohan.
The bows.
But it's basically, that list is Aemma, 4 Riders of Rohan, and then Imrahil and as many Swan Knights as you can get.
If you have to take Aemma...
What, in the Grief of Aemma? Yeah, you probably...
Okay, so you do have to take Aemma.
Yeah.
And you probably have to take Imrahil, if it is just Aemma and Imrahil. you're sacrificing a lot of points by not taking Riders of Rohan because he's the only one that can lead Riders of Rohan.
Yeah, but Imrahil's going to be able to lead 18 Swan Knights.
And that's going to get you up to 700 points anyway.
Irma could have a rule like Helm, can't lead troops.
And he could cause terror on the turn of chargers.
Yeah.
They could, because actually what we've not got here is a hyper-focused list. Ride Out, the Defenders of Hornburg, Road to Rivendell, they're all like, this is the specific moment this happens.
Yes.
Grief of Aemir could be like that. It's all about Aemir. He causes terror. He has to charge. He can't lead troops. He gets dominant. He goes off on his own. Just going absolutely.
Don't give everything dominant.
Reroll failed wounds. Everything gets dominant. Yeah, and then Imrahil's then come in to sort it out and save him, and then they maybe don't get as many buffs. Yeah. Aemir gets his free heroic combats. That's probably what I'd lean toward. One of the best things about Grief of Aemir is the dice.
Oh, the Glamroth dice that keep rolling 6.
The Glamroth dice that keep rolling 6s is the Baron of Dice dice.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting dice, do check out the Baron dice because they're so good. It's unreal. Okay. Fiefdoms generic. For me, don't need to change too much actually. What they were was it'd be like reroll 1s to wound next to this person, fearless next to that person, you're a banner next to Emerald, and it all stacks up. Yeah. And if you've got all the heroes and you're near enough to all of them, you've got some really powerful troops. I love that idea because there's not many lists like that.
No, I think that's exactly what it won't change. That's what it'll have. That's what it'll be. They might just make it Battle for the Lord while the heroes are alive to make it a little bit easier.
Yes. Well, here's my one big question for you. In the fiefdoms list, are you including Minister, Warriors, and Captains?
No.
Just fiefdoms?
Yeah. But I am adding fiefdoms to a top of the wall.
Yes, I think that will happen. Yeah, I agree with that. Including Imrahil. Yeah.
Yes, and that's where you Warriors and Minister come.
Yes, okay, yes, it's the same deal. Yeah. Okay. I think we're agreed on that.
Yeah. Oh my god, if that happens, I might do that. Oh, that could be a Throne of Skulls atop the wall with all the fiefdoms.
And then the last one then, and it's the one that the players of Khazad Doom, I think, are reeling a little bit at the moment.
Yeah.
Because they've lost their King's Champion. They've lost all the things we talked about before. They've still got a good variety of troops. And they've lost their axes, crucially. So they've lost massive bonuses. In the old edition, friendly dwarf models with either Khazad Doom or Moria keyword may reroll wound rolls of a 1. It's got to be more than that. They can't just be reroll 1s.
Why?
I just think it's not a powerful enough list. You've got Durin, he's great. What else have you got? You've not got any heroes with any punch.
No.
And you've probably got a lot of troops, but I also think it's not very spicy, but it feels, I don't know.
What are you giving?
I'm saying they've lost their King's Champion, they've lost their access, because of the King's Champion, they've lost their banners. I'm increasing the range of their banners to 6 inches.
Oof.
That happens in a few lists, or certainly in the old Dunman list and in one of the new lists. It might be a wild one, I can't remember. So I think 6-inch banners. It could be 6-inch banners and reroll 1s.
Could Dwarves of Khazad Doom go base strength 4?
Yeah, that's the same. That is, and that's it.
But that's just baked into their profile. Then you don't need the buffs as much.
Oh,
because that's the only list you're going to get these dwarves in, is in that. So you just bake it. You can just bake that into their profile.
No, I think not. I think it differentiates the Iron Hills.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Oh, you know what? It could be as simple as a Khazad Guard get Burley, that kind of thing.
Oh, +1 fight value.
+1 fight value within 3 during.
Within 3 inches of during, +1 fight value.
Simple as that.
And rerolling 1s, and rerolling 1s to win.
Yeah, I agree. That.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited for the Armies of Middle-earth book. Which of the lists we've gone through are you most excited?
Grief of Irma.
Most excited. It's going to be the same answer.
Grief of
most
Irma.
Excited to play and most excited to see what they do with it.
Grief of Irma.
You know what? I'm most excited to see what they do. I want to see Grief of Irma, but I'm most excited to see what they do with the Grey Company. Because that's cool. Like, that's the scene you want to be able to play.
It's just the same. We know what it's just going to... Grief of Irma is just going to wipe the floor with that.
It's going to have some new rules, though. And I'm most excited to play. I want to get my hands on the bears. We love the bears. I want to play them this edition.
Yes, I am going to make it because I've got 21 or 24 Beornings and then the 2 bears. I'm going to make it. I want to paint them up as a project.
And a massive thank you to the Patreon supporting the channel. It was great to see loads in the GT.
It was really good. Yeah, really good.
And now we've got, it's so nice to put a face to a name, and now we can actually, we're planning to, go to Manchester and play a few games. And you're having a few up at the Treehouse, aren't you, for the games and things?
Yeah. I think Dan's booked a work trip to Edinburgh, and we've had Rory.
Don't call him out in front of 1,000 people.
Sorry. Not Dan. Booked a work trip to Edinburgh.
I'll bleep it out.
Yeah. So
we've got the hoodies, because the grey and white wizards, we're just as a thank you, we're sending out some wizard hoodies which Aaron's sorting out, which so you'll be able to go full 2 trees at your next tournament. But yeah, it's going to be great. Thanks for watching.
Really good.
See you soon. Yeah.
All good.
Cool.
Perfect.